Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this lecture, we are going to discuss chromosome functions. In previous lecture, we have discussed about the structure of chromosome. That chromosome consists of different parts. The primary constitution that is called the centromere, secondary constitution that is called NOR, nuclear organizer region, having the satellite, and then the telomere, and the matrix. Chromomere and chromonimeta and pellicel. These are the structure, these are parts of the chromosome. And after that, we have discussed about the composition of the chromosome. Chromosome mainly composed of DNA. DNA, protein, RNA, and the metallic ions like calcium and magnesium. And we have packed the DNA in we have wrapped the DNA around the histone protein and formed the nucleosome, then the chromatin, then the chromatin. After coiling, we have made the chromosome that having the size 1400 nanometer. Now, in this lecture, we are going to discuss the functions of the chromosome. Functions of the chromosomes. Chromosome play a very important role in the cell. It control the nucleus, it pack the nuclear material DNA, and it also transfer the genetic material equally in the daughter cells. So the number of the chromosome and the structure of the chromosome play a very important role in the integrity of the cell. The unique structure of the chromosome keeps DNA tightly the unique structure of the chromosome keeps DNA tightly wrapped around the spool-like proteins called the histones proteins. Without such packaging, DNA molecules would be too long to fit inside cell. अगर ये packaging ना हो तो DNA molecule cell में fit ना हो सके. For example, if all the DNA molecules in a single human cell were unwound from their histones and placed end to end, they would stretch 6 feet. अगर हम DNA को stretch करें इस न्यूक्लियो क्रोमोसोम से, उसको unwound करके histone प्रोटीन से unwound करके उसको stretch करें, open करें, तो end to end उसकी जो length है 6 feet तक stretch होगा जी. So this 6 feet जो DNA है कैसे सेल में फिट होगा, इसके लिए क्रोमोसोम की स्ट्रक्चर. For any organisms to grow and function properly, cells must constantly divide to produce new cells to replace old worn out cells. So cell division is the most important process inside the cell. Cell में जो worn out cells हैं उनको replace करना होता है, cell ने अपने number को increase करना होता है, cell ने growth करनी होती है, उसके लिए cell division होती है. और cell division के लिए जो equal amount of the DNA hereditary material transfer होना बहुत जरूरी है. So chromosome maintain the equal distribution of the genetic material DNA in the daughter cells. During cell division, it is essential that DNA remains intact and evenly distributed among cells. DNA उनमें लाजमी हो, मौजूद हो और evenly distributed, हर cell में equal amount of chromosomes. The number of the chromosome in the daughter cell must be equal to the number of chromosome in the parent cell. जितना chromosome parents में है उतने ही chromosome daughter cell में होने चाहिए. Chromosome इन number को maintain करता है, इस genetic material की जो amount को maintain करता है. Chromosomes are a key part of the process that ensures DNA is accurately copied and distributed in the vast majority of cell during division. Division के दौरान उसकी copy भी accurately हो और उसकी distribution भी accurately हो, उसको chromosome maintain करता है. Still, अगर क्रोमोसोम की स्ट्रक्चर में या क्रोमोसोम के नंबर में कोई भी abnormality आती है, then it leads towards the abnormality of the cell. अगर क्रोमोसोम की में abnormality है तो जो सेल है वो abnormal होगा. For example, the mistakes that occur during the cell division are in the chromosomes that change the number or the structure of chromosomes in new cells may lead to serious problems. For example, in human, one type of leukemia that is called chronic myeloid leukemia. Chronic myeloid leukemia, that is the type of the cancer in this that is also called the Philadelphia chromosome. The chromosome 9 and chromosome 22 exchange their parts, and other cancer called by defective chromosome made of giant pieces of the broken chromosome. They join their parts, exchange their chromosome parts. इससे ये कैंसर जो है ना वो develop होता है. It is also crucial that reproductive cells such as the egg and the sperm contain the right number of chromosomes. उनमें number of chromosomes की amount भी equal होनी चाहिए, right होनी चाहिए, ना ज्यादा हो ना कम हो. क्यों? अगर नंबर ऑफ क्रोमोसोम एक्सीड करेंगे फिर भी एबनॉर्मेलिटी है, अगर लेस होंगे फिर भी एबनॉर्मेलिटी है. सो नंबर ऑफ क्रोमोसोम शुड बी मेंटेन, शुड बी इन बैलेंस अमाउंट इन द डॉटर सेल्स. If the chromosome that those chromosomes have the correct structure, if not, the resulting offspring may fail to develop properly. For example, people with Down syndrome have 3 copies of chromosome 21 instead of 2 copies found in other people. Okay, डाउन सिंड्रोम में 3 copies ऑफ क्रोमोसोम्स 21 की 3 copies होती हैं, वैसे नॉर्मल में कितनी होती हैं? 2 copies होती हैं. सो दिस 3 number of the chromosome 21 is the abnormality. Genetic code storage. Chromosome store the genetic code. Chromosome contain the genetic material that is required by the organisms to develop and grow. Genetic material जो क्रोमोसोम में जीन मौजूद हैं, सारे जीन क्या है? जीन is a part of the DNA. DNA molecules are made of chain of the units called the genes. इनको genes बोलते हैं. Genes are those section of DNA which code for specific proteins required by the cell for its proper functioning. Cell में जो फंक्शन के लिए जो प्रोटीन इनकोड होती है उसको हम जीन्स बोलते हैं, उसको कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं डीएनए का. अब डीएनए किसका पार्ट है? डीएनए क्रोमोसोम का पार्ट है, या क्रोमोसोम जो है वो डीएनए कंपैक्ट होकर बना है. सेक्स डिटर्मिनेशन इज आल्सो कंट्रोल्ड बाय द क्रोमोसोम. ह्यूमन हैव 23 पेयर ऑफ क्रोमोसोम, आउट ऑफ व्हिच वन पेयर इज द सेक्स क्रोमोसोम. फीमेल हैव द 2x chromosome and the male have 1x and 1y chromosome. The sex of the child is determined by the chromosome passed down by the male. If X chromosome is passed out of the XY chromosome, अगर X chromosome जा रहा है male की तरफ से, then the child will be the female. And if Y chromosome is contributed from the father side, then the child will be the male. The child will be the male. So sex determination is also controlled by the chromosome. That is the sex chromosomes. Control of the cell division is also under the control of chromosome. When and how the cell have to divide, सेल ने कब और कैसे डिवाइड होने, उसकी सारी इंफॉर्मेशन डीएनए में इनकोडेड है. अब क्रोमोसोम में जो जीन्स हैं वो when it requires to express, then the gene will express and the cell will undergo the process of the division. Chromosome checks successful division of the cells during the process of mitosis. There are different type of checkpoints that will be discussed in the cell cycle. The chromosomes of the parent cell ensure that correct information is passed on to the daughter cell required by the cell to grow and develop correctly. अब जो information है और daughter cell में correct होनी चाहिए ताकि उसकी जो उसमें कोई abnormality मौजूद ना हो. Formation of the protein and storage. Proteins are essential for the activity of cell. The chromosome direct the sequence of proteins formed in our body and also maintain the order of DNA. It also maintain the order of DNA. The proteins are also stored in the coiled structure of the chromosomes. These proteins bound to DNA help in proper packaging of the DNA. As we have discussed, that the different types of the histone proteins and non-histone proteins are responsible for packaging of the DNA inside the chromosome. So these chromosomes are these proteins are encoded by the genes present on the DNA. Human chromosomes. Human has 2 types of chromosome: autosome and sex chromosome. Autosome are the body somatic chromosomes, and the sex chromosome, these are the mainly determine the sex of an individual. Certain genetic traits are linked to sex and are passed on to the sex chromosomes. The autosomes contain the rest of genetic hereditary material. जो sex chromosome के अलावा जो genes है, जो chromosome सबको autosome बोलते हैं. All act in the same way during the cell division. Human cells have 23 pairs of large linear chromosomes, as we discussed. 23 pair हैं, 46 chromosomes हैं. 22 pairs are the autosome and 1 pair of the sex chromosome, giving a total of 46 per cell. In addition to these, human cells have many hundreds of copies of the mitochondrial genome भी मौजूद होता है. Do all living things have the same type of chromosomes? Chromosome vary in number and shape among living things. इनकी shape और इनका number living organism में मुख्तलिफ होता है. हाँ, एक स्पीशी में नंबर ऑफ क्रोमोसोम सेम होंगे, जिस तरह होमोसेपियंस ह्यूमंस हैं 46 हैं, ड्रोसोफिला है तो 4 पेयर ऑफ क्रोमोसोम 8 क्रोमोसोम्स उसमें होंगे. तो सेम स्पीशी में नंबर ऑफ क्रोमोसोम सेम होते हैं, लेकिन डिफरेंट इंडिविजुअल में जो नंबर ऑफ क्रोमोसोम, उनकी स्ट्रक्चर, उनका नंबर डिफरेंट होता होता है। मोस्ट बैक्टीरिया हैव 1 or 2 सर्कुलर क्रोमोसोम, इस तरह बैक्टीरिया में 1 or 2 सर्कुलर क्रोमोसोम होते हैं। ह्यूमंस along with other animals and plants have linear chromosomes that are arranged in pairs with the nucleus of the cell. The only human cells that do not contain pairs of chromosomes are the reproductive cell or gametes. Gamete cell में pair of chromosomes नहीं होते। Gamete cell always carry just one copy of each chromosome. So gamete cells are the haploid cells. Gamete cells are the haploid cells. When two gamete cells are unite, they become a single cell that called the zygote, and zygote contain the 2 copies of the chromosome, and each copy of the chromosome come from the each parent. One is from the mother and one is from the father. So gamete cell has half number of the chromosomes. So gametes are the haploid cells having the half number of the chromosomes. This cell then divides in zygote की बात हो रही है. This zygote will divide and its successors divides numerous times, eventually producing a mature individual with full set of pair chromosomes, then virtually all of its cells. Then it divides and and form the mature. Then it have the equal number of the chromosome or double number of the. Besides the linear chromosome found in the nucleus, the cells of the human and other complex organisms carry a much smaller type of chromosome similar to those seen in the bacteria. They are called extra chromosomal material, extra chromosomal hereditary material that is present in the mitochondria in case of animals, and in case of plants it is present in the chloroplast that is responsible for cytoplasmic inheritance. This circular chromosome is found in the mitochondria, which are structures located outside the which are structures located outside the nucleus that serve as the cell's powerhouse. The scientists mainly observe or believe that this mitochondria originated by the concept of the endosymbiotic theory that will be discussed in later slides, in later lectures. Chromosome inheritance, how the chromosome control the inheritance of the characters. In humans and most other complex organisms, one copy of each chromosome is inherited from the female parent and other from the male parent. One copy male से आती है, one female से आती है. This explains why children inherit some of their traits from their mother and other from the father. So that's why the characters in the children's inherited from both father and the mother. Some characters are similar like the father and some are like the mother. That's why the half the number of the chromosomes are contributed by the father and half from the mother sides. The pattern of inheritance is different for the small circular chromosome found in the mitochondria. जो mitochondrial inheritance है वो different है. That has been discussed in cytoplasmic inheritance. Only egg cells and the not sperm cells keep their mitochondria during fertilization. Egg cells सिर्फ contribute करता है अपने cytoplasm को, क्योंकि sperm सेल सिर्फ न्यूक्लियस को कंट्रीब्यूट करेगा. तो माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया इज ऑलवेज कंट्रीब्यूटेड फ्रॉम द मदर साइड, नॉट फ्रॉम द फादर साइड. सो माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल डीएनए इज ऑलवेज इनहेरिटेड फ्रॉम द फीमेल पेरेंट. In humans, a few conditions, including some forms of the hearing impairment and diabetes, have been associated with DNA found in the mitochondria. So, mitochondria related जो disorders ने, they are transferred. That all disorders are transferred from mother to offspring. Special types of chromosomes. There are other types of chromosomes than the normal chromosomes. This is just for the sake of information. Polytene chromosomes. These chromosomes were discovered by Balbiani 1881 and the name by Kohler. The nuclei of the salivary gland cells. These are mainly found in the salivary gland cells of the larvae of the dipterians like the Drosophila have usually long and wide chromosome 100 or 200 times in size of the chromosome in meiosis and mitosis of the same species. Salivary gland cells do not divide after the glands are formed. जब glands formed होते हैं, salivary glands never divide. Yet their chromosome replicate. लेकिन chromosome replicate होते हैं several times, process called the endomitosis. Cell divide नहीं हो रही लेकिन chromosome divide हो रहे हैं. This process called endomitosis and they become exceptionally giant cell. तो chromosome होते हैं वो giants बना लेते हैं आपस में ही multiply होने के बाद आपस में ही giant बना लेते हैं. And this type of the chromosome is called polytene chromosome. This type of chromosome is called polytene chromosome. The endomitosis process results in the production of 2x chromosome. 2x chromosome mean double the number of chromosome. Here x, यहाँ पे x का मतलब है double. 2x mean double, multiply करेंगे उसको. Lambrush chromosomes discovered by the Rucker in 1992 formed during the diplotin stage in the nuclei of the oocyte during the active synthesis of messenger RNA molecules for the future use. It contains a main axis of the whole chromosome fiber, whole chromosome fiber, DNA molecules given outer lateral loops throughout its length. उसमें एक whole chromosome होता है, उसमें फिर outer loops arrangement हो जाती है chromosomes की. This is called the Lambrush chromosome. B chromosome, also called the supernumerary or the accessory chromosome भी बोलते हैं इनको. Many organisms have a special chromosome in addition to the autosome, which are called the B chromosome. Autosome के अलावा कुछ small chromosome को बोलते हैं B chromosome. These are smaller than the autosome. Autosome छोटे होते हैं and number varies from 0 to 30% depending upon the type of cell. In some animals they may be derivatives of the sex chromosomes. कुछ animals में वो sex chromosomes से derive होते हैं. May have negative effects. Sometimes they have the negative effects on the cell. These are the small chromosomes. These are called the B chromosome. Holokinetic chromosomes in insects of the order Hemiptera and in some monocotyledons plants, the kinetic activity is distributed over the entire chromosome. Complete chromosome act as a kinetic activity. जो kinetic activity होती है वो सारे chromosome में distribute होती है. That's why it is called the holokinetic chromosomes. Holokinetic chromosome. The term diffuse centromere has been used in alternative. इसके लिए हम diffuse centromere भी इस्तेमाल करते हैं holokinetic के लिए. In 1996, Fletch observed this type of centromere in the some primitive dicotyledons along with the pseudocarpine and Ascaris में भी ये find होता है. Karyotyping, what is the karyotyping? Karyotyping is the chromosome, complete information of the chromosome, refers to the chromosome's complement of a cell or the whole organisms. In particular, it shows the number, size, and shape of the chromosome as seen during the metaphase mitosis. उनका नंबर, उनकी साइज, उनकी शेप, तमाम इंफॉर्मेशन जब उसको हम कंप्लीमेंट करेंगे, दैट इज द karyotyping. Chromosomes numbers vary considerably among organisms and may differ markedly between closely related species. जैसा ड्रोसोफिला में 18 है, ड्रोसोफिला में 8 क्रोमोसोम है, हनी बी में 32 और 16. वाई? वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है यहाँ पे, क्योंकि कुछ ऐसे ऑर्गेनिज्म होते हैं जो अनफर्टिलाइज एग से, जो मेल होते हैं अनफर्टिलाइज एग से होते हैं, क्या जो मेल है वो अनफर्टिलाइज एग से प्रोड्यूस होता है. दैट्स वाई उसमें हैप्लॉइड नंबर ऑफ क्रोमोसोम होंगे. तो जो डिप्लॉइड होगा, जो फर्टिलाइज होगा, जो फीमेल होगी 32 और मेल 16 क्रोमोसोम. दैट्स वाई हनी बी हैव द 32 और 16. ये अक्सर क्वेश्चन अराइज होता है, पूछा जाता है एग्जाम्स में. मेल ओरिजिनेटेड फ्रॉम द अनफर्टिलाइज एग, कौन सा? हनी बी. Goldfish 92, rat 42, rabbit 44, cat 38 number of chromosomes, dog 78, chimpanzee, gorilla 48, chimpanzee 48, human, that is a Homo sapien 46 number of chromosomes. 2n double. Ideogram, a diagrammatic representation of the chromosomes morphology characteristics of a species or a population, is known as the ideogram. Diagrammatic representation of the chromosome. तो ये हम उसको डिसऑर्डर, उसके लीनियर ऑर्डर्स में अरेंज किया है. क्रोमोसोम 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 up to 23 chromosomes. These two are the sex chromosome, X or Y chromosome. These are the sex chromosome, and these 22 are the autosomes. This is all about the functions of the chromosomes. In summary, we can say that chromosomes perform different functions. It maintains the integrity of the genome inside the cell. It maintains the amount of the hereditary material in the daughter cells. It also controls the synthesis of different types of proteins inside the cells. And if it controls the number and the amount of the genetic material inside the cell. If the number exceeds or decreases, then both the condition leads to the severe types of problems for the cells. And the cell having the abnormal number of the chromosomes or an abnormal structure of the chromosome, then the cell cannot survive, and the cell may be may refer to as the defective cell. Thank you so much. This is all about the functions of the chromosome.